Lewis?
Ooh, bisexual Superman. Okay, so what I think on this is actually quite complicated. I think in the first instance, I think it's great. I think having yet another point of reference of what bisexuality looks like is good. I think, as well, comic books and bisexuality, I do think they go hand in hand. I know we're having Kevin on, who's like a big like really into that space of like superheroes and comics and all that kind of stuff. And I do find there is some sort of subculture there where bisexuals tend to be in that kind of comic book space. So having that as a point of reference, I think, even for me growing up, if I'd have grown up in a world where, there is a version of Superman that's bisexual in this one comic book series, that would be great. And let's not forget, this isn't Superman as we know it, it's Superman's son. And so the thing in comics is whenever they do gender flip, or whenever they do change the race or the sexuality, it's actually not always the bigger deal as it is as like rewriting a character like James Bond or Doctor Who or whatever it is, because they're kind of mantles that are passed on anyway. So, obviously we all know Clark Kent as Superman, but there are different versions of Superman. This happens to be one of the many versions of one of his sons. So it's not even that whole reclaim thing, because I get the argument of like, look, this character was great on its own. You can't just retrofit diversity into it, like some sort of J.K. Rowling like thought. You know what I mean? So I get that. Then I do think what you were saying, Ash, about the whole thing about but it feels token and stuff. I actually do agree. At the same time as thinking it's good, and I think the problem is just the world we're living in at the moment. And to your point, Nikki, about being woke, I feel like maybe there's just too much of it now, where it's like, we're trying to retrofit diversity into absolutely any hole we can, and so then it means less, because it's like, Superman came out as bisexual today, tomorrow this character's going to come out as trans, this one's going to come out as an eco-activist or whatever, and it all feels very much, we're all just getting lost in the same conversation. So it's a bit of a weird one. I think as well, if you're looking at the character that this superhero is playing, it's very left-wing as well. It's like, we can't possibly do a bisexual character that wouldn't be left-wing. It isn't fighting for the planet and stuff like that, even though he's got super cold breath that could refreeze the ice caps if he wanted to. So it kind of feels a bit silly. It's like, actually, I don't know if you guys have been following in America, there's like a congresswoman or something that's bi, and everyone kind of celebrated her being bi, but actually her policies are not very left-leaning at all, and people are like, there's literal thought pieces down like, we've been let down, her bisexuality, we thought it meant that she had to have a certain view of politics. And so I do find in that way, it's like, okay, let's do loads of different bi characters, but we need the right-wingers, the left-wingers, the people that think the planet's dying, the people that think it's not. Like, it can't just be that it's just seen as a woke thing, because I think that's the problem, isn't it? If Superman had come out as a right-wing bisexual, people would be like, well, it's not really woke, is it then? What is it? It's confusing. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's strange. And let's fly the flag for those in the middle, the moderates amongst us who are out there. You know what I mean? It feels to me as though it's going to be a long time before moderates get any say at all at the moment with regards to the way in which the world is going constantly.
Well, it doesn't get clicks, Ash. It doesn't get clicks.
No.
A moderate view does not get clicks.
There you go. For some strange reason, although it's kept us going for quite a number of years, actually. But what do you think, Nikki, to what Lewis was saying?
Yeah, I completely agree with Lewis, actually. I think, we always want to simplify things, don't we? We always want to say that one thing is the point of something, or there's only one possible meaning or one possible shade. And you can have a negative and a positive held at the same time, and both of those things can be opposing and both of them can be true, actually. And so I think what Lewis has drawn attention to is the complexity. And I think because everyone's always being forced, like we say, Ash, to be in the binary, to pick the right or the wrong, the left or the right, the black or the white, it's like that is extremely irksome to lots of people. And it forces people to then say they've got a view which they actually don't have. Because if you press them a bit further, everybody's view is more complicated. It's never just as simple as, that's what I believe, in one sentence.
Yeah, and I think that's what's missing in the world we're in today, is we can't have those detailed conversations, which of course we get on Bisexual Brunch. And actually it's interesting that podcasts, and I hate the word podcast, but online shows, as it were, tend to be longer now. So actually, this notion that people have got very short attention spans, to an extent, is being turned on its head, because people are actually turning to places where they want a bit more They want a bit more depth. They want to understand things a little bit more. But the thing that I think gets me is the fact that we just go, the media never learns on this, and it happens when some big person dies and whatever. We go OTT with stuff, and we destroy people's interest in whatever that